Hello everyone and welcome to another video here on White Coats and Corgis. Today I'm going to show you a clip from the Premed Experience, which is a free event I created and hosted back in March 2023. The goal of this event was to connect pre-med students with admissions experts and make their advice a little bit more accessible. We talked with admissions committee members, deans of medical school admissions, and MCAT tutors. Today's clip is from our very last session of the day called Real Truth with Real Medical Students. All right, let's go ahead and get started.
Everyone, good to see you all again, and thank you to our medical students for joining. Again, I'm Dan. I am a second year internal medicine resident, and I'll be moderating the panel. So I'll be looking for questions in the Q&A portion below. But first, again, I want to thank our medical students for joining us, and I'm going to go one by one, and you just introduce yourself if you can, and tell us what year you're in and maybe what specialty you're interested in. And the first person I see here is Angela.
Hello, everyone. Thank you so much for having me. I'm super excited. My name is Angela Rutkowski. I'm a rising third year. I'm at Rush in Chicago, and I'm currently interested in OBGYN or neurology, keeping an open mind. Definitely very excited for rotations.
Awesome. Next, I see Brooke.
Yeah, hey y'all, Brooklyn. I am a fourth year medical student. Cannot believe it. So on edge with match next week. I'm in Texas, and I also am finishing up my MPH during medical school, so that might be relevant to someone. And I'm kind of revealing what I'm applying to soon, but it's more like primary care focus and trying to incorporate public health in my career.
Awesome. Next person I see is Zara.
Hi, I'm Sarah. I'm in South Florida. I'm a third year medical student, and I'm currently interested in emergency medicine, but it changes like every day. So stay tuned.
Fair. And the last person I see here is Kinza.
Hi, everyone. I'm Kinza. I'm a fourth year medical student. I'm actually here in Massachusetts, and I am applying psychiatry.
The first question is, failure is a normal part of the process of becoming a physician. And everyone at some point in their path has sort of failed in becoming what they want to do, or whether it's tests or things in that journey. Can you talk about a time that you've had a failure or something that didn't go the way you were expecting it to, and how anybody could learn from an experience like that?
Yeah, happily will answer this question. I feel like failure is not something unknown to me. First off, I hate the word failure. I know that that's what's referred to, but I just see it as opportunity to, grow, make the most out of it. And it's just, yeah, I have a whole spiel about that. But basically it started as a sophomore in college. I got a C-. So I obviously was very scared in Orgo, by the way, Orgo 2. So I was scared what that would mean for my, potential ability to get into medical school, of course. That was one instance. And I obviously had to really redeem myself moving forward, show an upward trend that I could still excel in classes despite this failure. Then I got a 505 on my MCAT, which by some is viewed kind of as like an average score. And so I wanted to retake it again to get a better score. I retook it and I got a 505 again. So that was very, discouraging despite all these months of retaking, restudying, all of these things. But I still applied because I trusted that like the rest of my application hopefully would have been strong enough with the upward trend, with the extracurriculars. And then recently in medical school, for those who follow me, they know that I'm open about this as well, but I didn't pass step 1 by 1 to 2 marks. So that was something I had to bounce back from. And, it's still something I'm actively going through. But yeah, failure is like something that I've noticed that every single person goes through during their process. And it's not something that, anyone is not going to go through at some point in their life. It just depends. You have to be really careful with who you follow on social media, who you talk to, because and I completely understand and respect this, but not everyone's going to talk about it publicly. But just know that everyone is going through something, some sort of obstacle, some sort of red flag in their application. And so it's so much more than just your failure. So that's my little thing. I'm happy to answer more questions.
So thanks for sharing that. And the next question we have here is for Brooke, and it's a combination of a few questions we have here from Thelma and Jennifer, and it's about life balance with studying and doing the things that you enjoy doing, and just how do you stay sort of mentally well in the process of being a medical student?
Yeah, absolutely. This is so important and it's going to look different for everyone. And so even though this is kind of, it may make sense in hindsight, like really one of my biggest advice to people is to be in tune with what you specifically need. And that can be tricky because that could be not what your friends need. And that's okay. Peer pressure never stops, right? I know a lot of my friends like to go out on the weekends. Your girl needs to sleep. I need 8 hours consistent or I am a mess, right? And so you have to be comfortable prioritizing your needs because at the end of the day, like you can't show up for anyone in your life or your friends or anything if you're not prioritizing your own health. And so one of the things I always emphasize is just, really being in tune with what's best for you and not what's best for everyone else, which this can get really mixed on social media, right? Like something could look so good on a reel. It could be so like the perfect video, but if it's not like realistic to you or something that's really hard to apply, then it's good, try things out, right? But don't force anything because that's what looks best. So I guess to answer the question a little bit, for me, definitely therapy has been really important because it's just hard to even have that balance if you're just so in your head and, so many students, especially with, this anxiety in medical school has been a roller coaster. And so really being able to talk through that out in a safe space is just going to set you up positively for every other aspect of your life, And I think truly the biggest thing about having balance as a medical student is forgiving yourself and not feel guilty when you take a break. Because it's one of those things where you could rest, but if you feel guilty for that rest, it's not going to provide those amazing benefits that it truly can, right? Even recently, my friend was like, oh, I felt like I did nothing because I was trying to tell her to take a break. And I'm like, feeling like you did nothing and actively doing nothing or self-care are two very different things, And so whatever that looks like for you, and it's kind of typical medical student culture to be like, oh, I feel so guilty, blah, blah, blah. And like unpack that, right? Like we shouldn't be feeling guilty because again, then it's just a lose-lose. You're not already getting the rested time that you are. And so I kind of hit on different points, but definitely just keep it really personalized because that's going to go so far. We all need different things, right? Therapy, if that's applicable to you, which I think it is for most people. Oh my goodness, what's my last point? I forgot, but that's the gist.
Yeah, that's great. Zara, a question that Dakai asks here in the chat is about major misconceptions about medicine or med school. So what's something that you feel like people get wrong about medical school? What do people think it's like versus what is it actually like? Have you experienced anything along those lines?
I think one of the biggest misconceptions is that people expect you to like eat, sleep, breathe medicine. And for me personally, that was not true. Although you are you are studying a lot, you are doing a lot. It's not like that. You do have time to go hang out with your friends, spend time with your family, take a little trip on a winter break or something. So I think that's just like a really big misconception, especially on social media. People will show themselves like getting up at 5 a.m., not getting home until like 10 p.m., just studying. And it's not like that at all. You just need to, study smart, not hard, figure out what works for you, and just, manage your time well to make the most of it.
And that's a great answer. And speaking of social media and things, obviously, we have 10 minutes left. So I know there's a lot of questions that will go unanswered, unfortunately, just based on the time restrictions. But you can get in touch with any of our 4 awesome panelists here at their social media accounts. I want to go over them actually now and then go into questions for the next 10 minutes, just so we make sure we mention that. Kinza, how can people get in contact with you? And then I'll go person by person.
Yeah, my Instagram is a great way. I try my best to respond to every person. So my handle's right here as my name, at Kinza J. Hussein.
Thanks. And Zara?
Yeah, so my Instagram would also be a great way to get to me. I try to respond to DMs as best as I can, and I'll drop my username in the chat. It's almost Dr. Zara.
Thank you. And Brooke?
Yeah, so just like everyone else, my name is on here, Beats by Brooke. Instagram's the best way. If I throw you a voice message, don't be surprised. I like talking and not texting.
And Angela?
I would say I'm also active on Instagram. You can DM me, and I'm also happy to set up a phone call with you if you feel like there's something that I said that resonated in a way that I can be helpful. I have 2 more months left of my leave of absence. So I have a lot of free time. So you can just message me whenever, and I put my handle in the chat for you.